here comes this weird thing. Weird situation that I'm finding myself in, and I want to give it a shot and see how things will go. I kind of am aware that for things to work, I always needed to give time, but whenever risk is involved, the risk of anxiety always rises up, and I'm quite vulnerable to anxiety. Anyway, what I'm talking about, I got a job that provides income enough to survive. That's the thing. Hourly rate is actually really good. I'm just not getting out of hours. I get like 25 hours a week. But this is enough to survive because the hourly rate is pretty good. And that leaves me with plenty of time. So living like that is going to be dangerous over the years because I will not build up any savings. Something will go wrong and I'm absolutely screwed. This also forces me to save money. Like, don't take any takeaways and don't put money into some ridiculous places. Just save it, eat cheap and leave cheap, like this type of stuff. But I'm also having a lot of time, and so spending all this time and trying to get my business going sounds like a pretty good idea. The only thing is that I'm such a weird guy. Like, I have a very dynamic personality. I can't focus on one thing for all too long. I have to focus on different things. I gotta do different things. So I'll be doing 4 different things that I wouldn't wish to reveal on this podcast. And I hope that it'll take me somewhere. And that I'll actually finish something, because being the person that I am, my problem is that I'm not finishing things. I'm getting hyped on one thing and then I'm leaving it behind because I'm getting bored. So the crazy plan is allow myself to do different things. I limited myself to 4 different things. There has to be a limit somewhere so that I will have an opportunity to switch my attentions very often, even every day. Like, even today, I'm going to spend 3 hours. Today, I'm actually working for like 8 hours. Crazy, right? To split my attention between 4 different things. And today, I'm going to do 3 different things. And hope that all those things will come up to something. So, by the end of the next week, I hope to have my shop on Etsy set up. Spoiler alert, I'm going to do a very, very simple pixel graphic 64x64 of people's pets or people's character portraits and stuff. I just need to add some things to my portfolio. And I'll be selling them very cheap because I have very, very basic skills. So that's the first step, and I wouldn't wish to reveal any further steps because I just don't know how things will turn out in the end. But, I think it's a pretty unique opportunity to have a lot of time and don't have a lot of responsibilities, having only yourself to kick yourself in the butt. So I will spend as much time as I can, and I will have actually quite a lot of time. Despite the fact that I don't work a lot of hours during the day, or I'll put it differently, I am not working a lot of hours in a day, and I'm also having a lot of days free. That next week I'm having 3 days free, for example. So I think that this is a great opportunity for me not to waste time. So what I used to do before is whenever I was working on something, right? So first things first, I was doing a mistake by working on one thing because I was like, hey, you gotta just focus on one thing and do only one thing because in this way you're maximizing your chances of finishing a task. It's not true for my personality because whenever you put me on one task, maximum of 3 months, most likely less than that, maximum of 3 months, and I burn out so hard that I go into pretty serious anxiety and I don't touch anything for another 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months, whatever. For example, that's the great example actually. Around a year ago, I was doing a podcast that was called exactly like this. This is exactly this podcast. Just old episodes don't exist, except for YouTube. You can find them on YouTube. It was a year ago or 9 months ago, something like that. And it took me all this time to come back to the podcast because I was pushing myself so hard only on one subject. So there you go. I just can't do one thing for all too long. So I was planning before to do a constant amount of hours, but a very small amount of hours every single day. So I was like, hey, all those numbers will add up at some point, right? So I was learning 2 hours a day, right? I was learning something, some kind of a skill, 2 hours a day, every single day. Doesn't matter if I worked 8 hours, if I worked 10 hours. It happens very rarely, but it does happen. Or if I had a day free. That's bad for two reasons. First things first, me focusing on one skill is the least efficient thing for me to keep on going because I need distractions. I need other things in my mind. They can be also productive. It doesn't have to be playing video games and masturbating. Come on, like it can be something productive, but it has to be something different. And the second thing is that whenever I get up, I have to cook, I have to go to the gym, I gotta do shopping, and then I go for 8 hours to work whenever it happens. Then I come back. Putting in 2 hours is okay, right? You can do it. But whenever you have a day free and you're like, oh, I have only 2 hours, and then you spend the rest of your time losing the momentum because you don't do anything, because you're like, oh, well, I did my 2 hours, then this is also counterproductive. So right now I'm planning every single day right before this day happens. So one day up front. So yesterday I planned today. I was supposed to work for 11 hours. Then I realized that I will work only 7 hours. So I added additional 2 hours of some activities. So, yeah. So I will do it every single day. And I will see if I will be able to try and provide for myself an income out of the things that I'm actually passionate about and that I love doing, and that see if I can actually provide a value to the society out of the things that grinds my gears, you know what I mean, like that I'm really passionate about. Yeah. I can't believe I've been trying for so long. I am 27, and I've been trying to do something, achieve something, learn something since I remember. And I've always been failing because I seem to myself to be a person that burns out so easily, so easily. And I used to say to myself that I'm burning out so easily. I'm burning out so fucking easily because I don't want it enough. And I was just letting go. And I went through that phase where I just let it go. I spent all of my time simply gaming, watching sunset. I had a beautiful place in sunset. I don't live there anymore, but fuck me, man. Honestly, it was the best place for sunsets ever. And then this itching was always coming back, doing more, achieving more, expanding in some way, some creative process. So I'm trying to learn myself, like, okay, what kind of a person you are? What kind of a person you are? Where do you want to go? What do you want to do? How do you want to do it? Because quite obviously you don't want to just focus on one thing and, like, do it from 4 a.m. till fucking 11 p.m. or whatever. So I'm trying this. It's kind of weird, isn't it? I am planning not to do a set amount of hours of doing certain stuff every single day. Instead, every single day, I am planning my next day according to how much time I'll have. And I am not even working on a single project. I work on 4 different things, which slows my progress of finishing any of those things by 25%. At least it seems like it. But if you really think about it, for the last 12 years, I believe that first serious attempts of me achieving or doing anything was when I was 15. For the past 12 years, I barely finished anything. So, if you really think about it in this way, if I'll be able to do 4 things at a time, so I will do it 25%, theoretically speaking, slower, but I will actually do it, is far better than not doing it at all. So, that's me. Well, I'll see how things will go. I see how things will turn out. I'm going to set up a shop on Etsy with my pixel art graphics and see if this will be any good. If people will want to, like, buy them, if they'll be interested in it, and if it'll be anything cool. And then I'll proceed towards my next steps that I don't want to reveal yet. And see how things will turn out for me.